paved without increasing taxes.
Yeah.
And where can we combine expenses? Where can we save money? So that's a lot of what I heard.
Very interesting. Do you find that, and I think the answer is yes, that there's more congressional connection to Montpelier with our Washington delegation, and that while you're up there, you're seeing them and maybe interacting with them more?
I actually, I haven't crossed paths with him at all, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
I certainly don't expect to see Senator Sanders with his presidential campaign.
Now,
I don't
right.
think he'll be paying any visits to Montpelier. But to be honest with you, I think Peter Welch has done such a great job making himself available locally. I've seen him in Rutland several times in the past year, and I haven't crossed paths with him up there yet.
Wow, okay. Well, that's interesting. Do we have results already?
We do.
right.
We have results from Ward 1 that have just come in.
Okay, and I know the mayor's here in the audience as well, and we'll bring him on in here in just a minute, but let's see who's winning.
Okay, well, so far, Mr. Mayor, you are 613 to Messier at 238. The treasurer vote, Markowski 730, Messier 141, city assessor Barry Keefe 651, Cam Johnston 192.
And this is Godnick Ward 1.
This is Godnick Center, the northeast section of the city. For the Aldermanic vote, so far, let's see here, Tom DePoy 478, Chris Ettore 493, Jacqueline Beth Fleck 261, Billy Gillum 480, Melinda Humphrey 498, Rebecca Mattis 390, Matthew Merritt, 356. Lisa Ryan, 568. Congratulations on your nuptials, right, Lisa? And right. Bob Schlachter, our former fire chief, 286. And for that 1-year term on the board that somebody here is responsible for.
Right. This would be to Philly William Knott's seat on the Board of Aldermen for the last year.
Yes. Matthew Reveal, 574. Dan White, 197. School commissioners so far in, again, Ward 1, the Godnick Center in the northeast section. This is for a 3-year term for our school commissioners. Hurley Kavakis Jr., 605. Ann Dagas, 486. Dina Goldberg, 504. And Aaron Shimp with 490 votes. And then we have the various budget and bond articles. Article 1, the city school budget. Yes, 573, no, 348. The municipal general fund budget, yes, 611, no, 295. And the various bond articles. Article 1 has to do with municipal sewage system improvements. Yes, 716, no, 185. Article 2, the purpose of making public highway improvements. We were talking about potholes and such. Yes, 705, no, 199. And the various social services articles, which are dear to your heart as well as mine in particular cases. For Rutland Mental Health Services, yes, 604, no, 298. For ARC Rutland area, yes, 629, no, 263. Boys and Girls Club of Rutland County, Article 3, yes, 568, no, 330. Article 4, related to Marble Valley Regional Transit District, the bus, yes, 553, and no, 342. Article 5 for, well, what is now the Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice of the Southwest Region, but most of us around here still know it as RAVNA, Rutland Area Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice. 669 yes, no, 228. And for the RSVP program, one-to-one program, Interage and Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging, our senior package, if you will, yes, 620, no, 269. Article 7, related to the Regional Ambulance Service, yes, 635, no, 267. Article 8 for Brock Community Action, yes, 507, no, 378 for that $10,000 request. New Story Center, formerly Rutland County Women's Network and Shelter, also requesting $10,000, yes, 617, no, 274. Article 10 is a request for the Mentor Connector, yes, 574, no, 313. Article 11, Wonder Feet Kids Museum, yes, 495, no, 499, and no, 395. And finally, the petition to Article Number 1 related to Vermont adult learning, yes, 600, no, 301. Those are results from Ward 1 at the Godnick Center.
Yep, so we're very appreciative of Representative William Knott coming on the program right from Montpelier, and former alderman, and his seat now being filled by what looks like Matt Reveal with a quite substantial lead coming out of Ward 1 results. And we're welcoming Mayor David Allaire to the program. Welcome, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much. You're welcome.
Good evening.
Appreciate the invite. Thank you.
We want to give you a chance to hear about the results of Ward 2 now,
Okay.
or Ward 3, I'm sorry, the second ward in. And it starts out with Mayor David Allaire receiving 235 votes against Michel Champlain-Messier, Mike Messier, if you will, 89 votes. So that's in Rutland City. That's with two wards in. I think this is a fairly significant margin for you, Mayor, and I'm going to go ahead and declare you the re-elected mayor of the city of Rutland, and congratulations and welcome back.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We haven't heard the results from the whole city, but certainly
No,
it's
but
trending that way. I'm
Heard.
feeling very good about
It's a
that.
significant margin,
And
and
I'm
I don't
very
see that
appreciative
turning
to the
around.
voters.
But to Mike Messier, if you're watching and not here in the studio yet at this point, and we'd love to have you on, but I want to thank you for running the campaign that you did, and at this point, for putting yourself forward for the office of mayor, which, as we talked about, is not an easy thing to do.
No.
Mike was also on as city treasurer's ballot with Mary Markowski, the existing or current treasurer, I should say. That one goes like this for Ward 3. Mary Markowski, 242 votes. Michel Champlain-Messier, 75 votes. For City Assessor, Cam Johnston, 75 votes. And Barry Keefe, who I'm also going to declare the winner as well, at 235 votes. For City Alderman, and these are a little closer races, Tom DuPoy at 193 votes. Chris Sattori at 191 votes. Jacqueline Beth Fleck, 104 votes. Billy Gillum, or Bill Gillum, if you will, everybody knows Billy, 185 votes. Melinda Humphrey, 146 votes. Rebecca Mattis, here in the studio with us, 130 votes. And Matthew Merritt, a newcomer to politics in the area, but a well-known family, 115 votes for Matthew Merritt. Lisa Ryan, 183 votes. And Robert Schlachter, Bob Schlachter, our former fire chief and looking to become a Rutland City Alderman, 135 votes for Robert Schlachter. And for the one-year term, again, filling Rutland City Representative William Knott's seat, who was just here with us on the program, 200 votes for Matt Reveal and 92 votes for Dan White. So again, we congratulate Matthew Reveal and welcome him as a new Rutland City Alderman. At this point, with 2 wards in, I think it's safe to call. Again, for the school board, these are not contested. Hurley Kavakis leading with 226 votes. Ann Dagus, 164 votes. Dina Goldberg, 171 votes. And Aaron Schimpf with 158 votes. So there's 4 for 4 on that one. But the city budget articles, more importantly, Mary, you'll be, this is a close one in Ward 3. It was actually yes 163, no 164. So I want to point that out. That's the city school budget. And I want to point out that was 1 vote margin. So whenever, and we've said this before, whenever you say your vote doesn't count or I can't make it to the polls, thinking maybe it doesn't matter, it does matter. Every single vote matters. So again, for the city school budget in Ward 3, 163 yes, 164 no. The municipal budget, 193 yes, and 130 no, Mayor. So you're getting your municipal budget, it looks like.
Very pleased about that.
City bond articles, again, we'll go quickly with the municipal sewage treatment facility, 252 yes and 73 no. The highway improvements, culverts, etc., Article 2, 230 yes, 94 no. And I'm speeding these up. Actually, we're going to get to the social service agencies in just a minute for Ward 3, because Nancy's got Christ the King Ward 2, and we want to give you those results for the elected officials first, and then we'll get back to the social service articles for Ward 3. So Nancy, Christ the King, Ward 2.
The southeast section of the city, yes. For Mayor, Dave Allaire, 422. Mike Messier, 176. For treasurer, Mary Markowski at 495 and Mike Messier 110 votes. For city assessor, Cam Johnston 118, Barry Keefe 463. For that aldermanic race, 373 votes for Tom DePoy, 377 for Chris Ettore. Beth Fleck, Jacqueline Beth Fleck, 179. Bill Gillum, 338. Melinda Humphrey, 314. Rebecca Mattis, 244. Matthew Merritt, 260. Lisa Ryan with 356, and Robert Schlachter, 234 votes in that aldermanic race, and that's for 6 for 2-year terms. For the 1-year term, Matthew Reveal at 357 and Dan White getting 160 votes in Ward 2, which polls at Christ the King, the southeast section of the city.
Well, I've just got some breaking news from Mendon I wanted to share.
Okay.
Nancy, that they had a race for town moderator in the town of Mendon between Rich Carlson and Chris Corsones. And Chris Corsones has won 70 votes to 49 votes. So Chris Corsones, town moderator in Mendon, winning 70 votes to 49 votes against Rich Carlson in the town of Mendon. So some breaking news there for town moderator in Mendon.
The rest of those races were uncontested, and that points to the importance of having contests, although it may not be as much fun for the incumbent to have to deal with re-election campaigns, but it's good for voters to feel like they have
Absolutely.
a choice. Meanwhile, back at our Rutland City Ward 2, for school commissioners, again, these are all unopposed. Kavakis, 408, Dagus, 315, Goldberg, 319, and Shimp, 315 votes. For the city school budget, Article 1, yes, 349, no, 277. Article 2, the Municipal General Fund budget, 378 in favor, 239 opposed. City bond articles, the one related to sewage system improvements, 469 in favor, 150 opposed. Article 2, making public highway improvements, yes, 440, no, 178. And the social service articles, Article 1, Rutland Mental Health Services garnered 397 votes in favor in Ward 2 and 223 no votes. Article 2 related to ARC Rutland area, yes, 415, no, 198. Boys and Girls Club of Rutland County, Article 3, yes, 362, no, 255. Article 4 related to Marble Valley Regional Transit District, the bus, yes, 365, no, 250. Article 5 for Rutland Area Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice, 454 yes, no, 167. And again, that organization is now Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice of the Southwest region, but most of us are still used to it being called RAVNA. So we do that here. The senior package, if you will, Article 6, 1-to-1, RSVP, Interage, and Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging, yes, 397, no, 216. Regional Ambulance Service, Article 7, yes, 415, no, 206. Brock Community Action, yes, 324, no, 288. News Story Center, formerly the Women's Network and Shelter, yes, 365, no, 252. Mentor Connector, Article 10, yes, 361, no, 256. And Article 11, Wonder Feet Kids Museum, yes, 319, no, 297. And finally, the petitioned Article number 1, Vermont Adult Learning, yes, 391, no, 225.
And we have Ward 4 in already. So this does make it official for the mayor with 437 votes for David Allaire to Mike Messier's 154 votes. So Mayor, that makes all 4 wards official at this point. But I also want to mention, I'm going to jump ahead just for a second because you also had the school budget passing in Ward 4, 353 to 272, and your municipal general fund budget 393 to 221. So it looks, Mayor, like you've not only been re-elected, but you have a budget to start work tomorrow.
Two good pieces of news, so I'm very pleased about that. Yes.
On Rutland City Alderman, I'll mention Mary Markowski, of course, City Treasurer 496 to 103 for Mike Messier, and Barry Keefe 485 votes to Cam Johnson's 104 for Rutland City Assessor. So those seem to be not changing tonight. However, the race for Alderman is going to be a tight one as these get tallied. And last but not least, Ward 4, Calvary Bible in the northwest section. Tom DePoy, 360 votes. Chris Ettore, 328 votes. Jacqueline Beth Fleck, 208 votes. William Billy Gillum, 350 votes. Melinda Humphrey, 299 votes. Rebecca Mattis, 275 votes. Matthew Merritt, 240 votes. Lisa Ryan, 356 votes. And Robert Schlachter, 218 votes. So that's for the 6 aldermen running for the 2-year term. And then, of course, the 1-year term, as we mentioned, that would be filling out William Knott's term for Rutland City Alderman. Matthew Reveal, 379 votes to Dan White's 148 votes. So again, congratulations to Matthew Reveal, and we'll ask them to total up the other 4 at this point to determine the 6 aldermanic candidates, because I haven't put a pencil to it yet.
No, there could be some real squeakers in there. Yeah.
And again, the 4 candidates for school board, we can kind of jump ahead on because they're all handily reelected.
Yes.
But the school budget, we just mentioned 353 to 272. That's 353 yes, 272 no. And the city budget, 393 to 221 yes to no. City bond articles, though, Mayor, also look like they're going through for you.
That's terrific.
So we have the municipal sewage improvements, 473 to 140, and also the highway culverts, et cetera, general obligation bond, 473 yes to 143 no. So those two are also passing handily. So it looks pretty good for you tomorrow, Mayor, actually. And then on the social service articles, we'll get back to Ward 3's, but on Ward 4, Article 1 is Rutland Mental Health Services, 395 to 226. ARC Rutland area, 418 to 200. Boys and Girls Club of Rutland County, 365 to 251. And these are yeses on the left, noes on the right. The Marble Valley Regional Transit District, the bus, 373 to 244. Those are yeses again. Ravna, et cetera, 462 to 156. I still call it that too, but it's Rutland Area Visiting Nurse and Hospice.
And now it's Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice of the Southwest region, including Bennington.
Thank you, Nancy. 462 to 156. And also the RSVP and Southwest Vermont Council on Aging and the 1-to-1 program, 423 to 191. The regional ambulance passing 422 to 195. And Brock Community Action, 356 to 254. And New Story Center, near and dear to a lot of our hearts, 378 to 236. Yeses, all yeses. Mentor Connector, 350 to 260. Yeses. And 316 yeses and 295 noes for Wonder Beat Kids Museum. So that passes also in Ward 4. And then the petitioned article, last but not least, the Vermont Adult Learning, 412 to 205. All in favor. So
As somebody
you
who
have some
works,
tallies?
yes, as somebody who works closely with many of those organizations, as do you, I find it heartening that there's an overall level of support for all these good organizations and the important work that they do in our community.
Agreed.
We have some results in from Killington, Tom. The moderator was unchallenged, so Paul Bueller is back. The select board votes, these are for 3-year terms in Killington. Chuck Claffey, 202. Patty Job McGrath, 110. Any other contested positions here? No, all of the rest of the contests for positions are unchallenged, but for Article 2, which has to do with property taxes being paid in 3 installments, yes, 241, no, 21. Article 3, related to the general fund balance, yes, 216, no, 94. Article 4, having to do with highway issues, 229, yes, no, 80. Article 5, related to constructing a public safety building, yes, 207, no, 105. Article 6, funding Tropical Storm Irene bridge replacement projects, yes, 243 to 65 against. Article 7, having to do with establishing a new reserve fund, yes, 244, no, 58. Article 8, this is for the purpose of supporting neighbor works of Western Vermont and their various home energy programs, yes, 228, no, 82. And those are the results from the town of Killington.
All right, and so want to jump over to the mayor here for just a minute, because it looks like all the social service questions have passed. It looks like the budgets for the school and the municipal budget have passed, and the bond issues have passed as well. So let's get your take on all of that, Mayor.
Well, thank you for, again, for inviting me and giving me a chance to speak a little bit about the results today. First of all, I wanted to thank the voters of the city of Rutland for the confidence that they've showed in me. I want to thank my opponent, Mike Messier, for running a very positive campaign. I think people had a choice. Nancy, you mentioned it. I think that's a good thing. It's good for democracy. It's good for being able to get out there and talk about the issues. Having these bond questions and our budgets pass rather comfortably certainly makes me feel good. I think the people of the city should feel good about that. We've been talking about infrastructure issues for a long time. It's going to be a long-term, project after project over a great many years to really address these 125-year-old infrastructure pipes that we need to replace.
Right.
A number of people ask me, what do you think about the future? What is it that you'd like to do for your next 2 years? And certainly, we want to continue on the infrastructure issue, but what I like to do is try to concentrate a little bit more above ground rather than just below ground, because our streets are taking a beating, and they're weather related. It's budget constrained, but I think it's something that the community needs to have a conversation about. So that's one of the things amongst many that we're going to be looking at. But being 45 minutes now after the polls close, I certainly feel pretty good about the results, and looking forward to getting to see my family here.
Yeah, great. But I did want to ask, so with those bond issues passing, and when would the work on those projects likely begin?
Well, I think for the most part, we'd like to get to going this summer. Some of them we've done the engineering on, certainly on a lot of the CSO projects. A lot of the planning work has already been done in anticipation of a positive vote. So the work's going to be done, started in the spring. The bridge issues, there's about 5 bridges, I think, that are involved with this bond issue. They're going to be done one at a time, depending on the state of each one. The most critically, the one that needs to repair the most will be first one out of the queue.
Okay.
So,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work and we have I know that some work can go on in colder weather, but a lot of it has to be done in the good weather, and we have a limited window.
We have a limited window, and it was a challenge out there today. There was a nip in the air, but it was great to see people. We all wish that it would be a higher turnout, somewhere in the area of 25%. I don't have the exact numbers, but usually that is a sign that people feel pretty good about what the state of affairs are in their community when you have numbers like that. So we'll encourage people, to get involved and continue to discuss the issues and move forward.
The only other question I had on my mind was, of course, being out there all day in the cold, and I think you even got a little windburn going on there,
got a
Mayor,
little
I
bit.
see,
Just a bit,
to
yeah.
prove it. Did you hear a particular theme when you were out today? Obviously you've been on the campaign trail too.
Right. Well, I think some of the things that I just mentioned, people were remarking about, we really do have to, take a look at our roads and our sidewalks. Sidewalks is another issue. We have, I'm not sure how many miles, but it's a large inventory of sidewalks that that are in some different shapes of disrepair. Mm-hmm. So we need to do, an inventory and take a look and go after, some of areas, schools, the hospital, areas that downtown that would rise to the priority list on those. So it's roads and sidewalks and obviously budgets and just getting people to move to Rutland.
Yes, well, as somebody who used to work with blind and visually impaired folks, that's certainly a very big issue, the roads for them, but also our elders, people who use canes, walkers, et cetera. So I'm really glad to hear that the momentum is there to address those issues. And I mean, everybody is affected by them, but especially those with extra mobility challenges.
Yeah, it is, and I heard that loud and clear, and we've been talking about it for a while, but to hear it from the voters when you're out there all day long, it was a theme, and they're right. They're absolutely right,
So Mayor, I saw you were in downtown Rutland on Sunday with the great food truck race.
Yeah.
Did you partake in one of the food trucks?
Well, I would have liked to have partaken in all four of them, or all three of them, but I didn't have a chance to do all that. But I certainly met an awful lot of people. There was a lot of local folks that were downtown. There's a lot of people that came in from out of town, literally hundreds. And when you see lines like that for food trucks in downtown Rutland on a Sunday in March, that's a very good sign. So we were really excited that they chose to come down after filming Saturday in Killington, and then come down and enjoy Rutland, Vermont, and the hospitality that we showed them on Sunday. It was a great event. We got some great exposure. Certainly, Channel 3 did a big story about it.
I did see that, right.
Yeah. So it was certainly a good story to tell about the city of Rutland.
I drove by all of the trucks after church, and it was like people were in line to get into a stadium for a rock concert. I was like, there are this many people out for lunch in the street in the cold.
And getting on national television.
Getting on national
Yeah,
television,
yeah.
some of them certainly did. But nevertheless, it was a pretty impressive turnout to see that kind of crowd, like
It
you say,
was.
on a Sunday afternoon
It really
in the
was.
cold.
I think we have another town coming in, and
Yes.
Mayor, thank you very much.
Well,
We really
thank you for
appreciate
inviting me. Appreciate
Congratulations
you
again.
taking the time.
Absolutely.
You're doing a great job getting the information out to all the folks, and I
Thank
know they're
you.
all eager to hear. And,
Transparency with Peg TV.
Peg TV does a great job, and we look forward to a successful future.
And I know Mike Messier is here, so we're going to actually see if he wants to come on the program for a
Okay.
minute and
Yeah.
talk
All right.
about the campaign himself. And
Very
you-
good.
You can shake hands with him on the
I
way
will.
out there, so.
I absolutely will. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Nancy.
Good to see you.
Congratulations.
These are the tallied numbers from the city.
Okay. So do we have the Rutland City Alderman? Why don't we cut to that?
Yes,
And then
it's
we'll.
the most excitement there. Okay.
And there's a great photo op going on over here with the two mayoral
That's
candidates
nice.
actually.
That's the way it ought to be.
meeting and greeting each other right
You know,
now,
that's
so.
the civility of democracy at its best. Number one, Lisa Ryan, gathering 1,463 votes in all four wards totaled. Tom DePoy with 1,404 came in second. Christopher Torrey, 1,389. Billy Gillum with 1,353 placed fourth. Melinda Humphrey, 1,257, and congratulations to Rebecca Mattis, who was with us earlier on the program and is still with us in the audience, 1,039 votes. Matthew Merritt came in 7 with 971, Bob Schlachter 8 with 873, and Jacqueline Beth Fleck 752 votes. So everybody certainly had something to be proud of in this year's race. And for that one-year aldermanic vote, Matthew Reveal, a total of 1,510 votes in the four wards, Dan White, 597 total.
Very good. And again, I'll congratulate Rebecca Mattis because she's right here in the studio with us and just came on the program with us a few minutes ago. So congratulations to you in your re-election to office. And so if I can just see that for a second, we'll just say, give a shout out to those being re-elected, which is Lisa Ryan, Tom DePoy, Chris Sartori, all re-elected, Bill Gillum, Melinda Humphrey, and Rebecca Mattis. So it was a clean sweep there for the incumbents. And then we'll have one newcomer because of that one-year seat with Matthew Reveal. So congratulations to all those candidates. Now on the program with us, we actually have the other mayoral candidate. And so we're very happy to welcome Michelle Champlain Messier. How's that? Welcome, Mike. I appreciate you being on the program.
Appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to start by congratulating Dave. It was a well-fought race. I think it was positive for the community. We had a lot of state and other exposures that is only going to benefit this community by stimulating interest. I think, I enjoyed it. I'm going to tell you the truth. I thought it was going to be a lot of work. I never expected to enjoy it as much as I did. I'd like to thank my father, my sister, my wife, my children, Matt and Morgan, and all the supporters out there. I enjoyed it very, very much, and I look forward to doing it again. You know, as we consider our community, I think it's very, very important to remember that Vermont is the second highest tax state in the nation. And I think when we look at Rutland, we may be very close to near the top as far as taxation. And I hope that people are not voting with their feet. I see a number of vacancies. Now, let me be positive. I want to turn that around. And I'm going to work with Dave. I'm going to work with the everybody that was elected, the additional candidates that are interested, the leaders of the community. I think we need to find a way to turn the community around, get those property values up. We're about half of what we are in the surrounding communities, Manchester, Middlebury, White River, and Glens Falls area. Okay. So we need to see if we can double the property values, because that is going to suggest that we're having success. So as long as we see progress in increasing property values and bringing jobs and people and young individuals into this state, in this local area, that's critical and very, very important to what we do and what we need to do going forward. So I thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions?
Well, yeah, I mean, you were out there today, and you also have a little bit of windburn and to prove it, right?
Yes.
They were definitely out there campaigning today and working hard to get your vote. And you know, you were also on the campaign trail.
Yes.
So, you know, was there a particular theme that you would echo that you heard out there that's particularly on people's minds?
Well, I think consistently and regularly we hear about roads. I mean, I was in a number of polling places, and I was there when Dave was basically a number of constituents and voters were talking to Dave about the roads, and they would talk to me continually about that. So I think that's a big issue. And I know we face challenges because of the climate here, and hopefully we can find a way to make it economic. And one of my ideas was basically see if we can get the Department of Labor participating by way of training individuals for asphalt here in this area. That would be federal dollars, where they would be basically paid by federal dollars to see if we can develop a train so we can improve our roads and do it more efficiently and more economically.
And this is the beauty of having contested elections. As I was saying earlier, it's important to have the exchange of ideas and to keep people engaged, because there are choices that they have an opportunity to make. And so, you know, and the fact that you are saying that you want to work closely with Mayor Allaire and with the others who have been elected tonight, I mean, that speaks very well of the whole process of democracy around here.
Right, and you know, most of the time I'm outside the rail. This time I was inside the ring, and I'll be back. Okay, and so I need to learn more about, and this was a last minute thing for me, really. And so next time I'll probably learn from this experience, enhance the organization, learn from the community. Some of the neatest things is that I had people that showed up at the polls and they said, we never go vote, but we came to vote for you because we've known you for a long time. And so that was very refreshing, rewarding. And to see the people waving and honking and participating in the process, I think was very good for the whole community.
Right. Now, do you think you'll be able to go to the grocery store without talking issues going forward?
Probably not. And you know, I enjoy learning. I enjoy hearing everybody's different perspectives.
Sure.
Because that helps you understand and appreciate where they're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. So when your wife asked you to pick up a gallon of milk, though, she will allocate like an extra 50 minutes or so.
Yeah, the only thing is we've gotten to half gallons now, because as I mentioned before, she suggested I should exercise. I'm going to tell you what, I got a lot of exercise out there today, waving and walking back and forth, because it was a little bit cool. You had to keep moving to stay warm.
Yeah, that's great, Mike. Well, we appreciate it. And congratulations, you know, on running. You know, we were saying that a lot of people would rather have other people do it. It's not one of those things that's for everybody. You know, you have to be a little bit brave and willing and have the energy and have that compassion to serve your community in this capacity. So congratulations and thank you for running. And, you know, we see each other all over, so.
Yeah. Well, we'll see one another more at the gym now.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
So thank you very much, everyone out there in Rutland. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it tremendously, and I'll be back.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Thanks
Mike.
again,
Good to
Mike.
see you.
All right.
Well, it's the thing. If you're going to run for office in a contested race, you make yourself vulnerable to the public.
Yeah.
And I think that requires a certain type of courage and a
Right.
real dedication
Right.
to do that. So every single person who runs for any of these offices
Right.
in a contested election should be congratulated and appreciated for wanting to do that.
That's exactly right. And so we, speaking of which, we also have another glutton for punishment here, Josh Terenzini, the chair of the Select Board in Rutland Town, and also recently appointed to the Act 250 District 1 Environmental Commission here in Rutland County. So I really do mean glutton for punishment. So Josh, welcome to the
Tom.
program. Thanks
Good
for
to
being
see
here.
you.
We appreciate
Good
it.
to see you again today.
Yeah, second time today.
I was coming out of the polls in Rutland Town and was greeted by Josh on my way out.
Yes,
So.
I shot home after being there, showered, and so I'll come down and
right.
see you guys. So
Well, and Josh's father, of course, is well known too. Tom Terenzini is a Vermont state representative representing the town of Rutland up there in the State House for us in Montpelier. So we've got a family of those who are elected to community service right here.
Yes.
And so we do appreciate that. It takes a
Oh,
lot of
thank
time.
you.
I know you have a young family, and you know
Yeah.
you're willing to carve out that time to make it a better community for your family.
well, I think so. I think I hope that I can bring a little to the table that makes Rutland Town a little bit better of a place than it was the day before. So I appreciate that recognition, and so it was a great day for Rutland Town. I'll tell you, all of our budgets, municipal and school, passed.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. We had a $250,000 security upgrade grant or upgrade ballot item for the school, which passed, which is great. The school budget passed, and one thing that we were very passionate about, you may have seen signs throughout the town, was voting for the police budget.
Oh,
Yes,
right,
yeah, I saw
And
those
you were
all
actually
over.
championing that.
Yeah, we worked hard, and I was really proud to be able to help spearhead that and sort of the campaign movement of how that was going to go, because we're really passionate about what we need. Right, we have a small but mighty police force, and we needed a little more help. And the voters today overwhelmingly supported that by
great.
passing this budget. So come July 1, we'll be able to employ another full-time certified police officer, which is going to make a world of difference in the quality of service and response times that we're able to provide in the town.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
excited about it. Both Joe DiNardo and Sharon Russell, both select board members, they ran unopposed. They won. Russ Marzin, many people know Russ. He's
Right.
the
Yes.
one of the new school board members. And then
Active with Come Alive Outside. And
Yeah, yes,
of course,
very
a local
active.
businessman, Rotarian,
Yes.
and a lot of different hats.
He wears a lot of hats.
Chamber
He's-
Business Person of the Year.
he's the Rutland Town Regional Planning Commission representative. So
Okay,
I don't know when
all
he
right.
has time to sleep, but so he's doing a great
Agreed.
job for the town. So he won. So congratulations to him. And then a newcomer, Timothy Hammond, defeated Nicole McPhee for a school board seat as well. It
Oh,
was,
interesting. Okay.
by 109 votes. So
Oh, okay.
Nicole has been a great champion as well for the town, and Timothy will do a good job too. So we congratulate him. So
yeah. Well, and again, we appreciate them for putting their names on the ballot.
absolutely.
It's not the easiest thing to do.
Right.
Although, it might appear easy, but it's not. And when you get out there and you're talking to people and people are sharing their opinions and you're trying to carry that message forward and also take into consideration all the different, there's always two sides to every coin.
Right.
And you've got to weigh everything and make a decision, and you're not always going to be the most popular guy in the room.
Well, that's just it. So small town politics is, the longer you're in it, I think the fewer friends you have, is the saying, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
As somebody I know says, if you don't make any enemies, you are not doing your
that
job.
I completely agree with.
Well,
it.
then there's
So-
that. Yeah, yeah.
So turnout was a little under 30%. So it sounds sort of similar in line, maybe with what the city saw. And
Okay.
it was, as I will echo Mayor Allair's comments. Congratulations to David, of course.
Yeah.
But I would echo his comments. It was a cold day, so we did our part out there to help get the police budget passed. But it could have been 10 degrees warmer. It would have made it perfect today. But
And you too have a bit of wind to burn.
I feel I do. I feel it now.
Just to
actually.
prove, that they were out there all day, yeah. But I got to ask, intermunicipal relations, to
Yeah.
talk about the city of Rutland working together with the town of Rutland. Now, I know you've had a rapport with Mayor Allaire,
Yeah.
and you've been working on, not figuratively, not literally, but just erasing the borders somewhat on issues and being able to have those conversations.
Right.
Is there anything else in the works right now that you guys have been talking about that where you want to continue to work together?
Yeah.
We're surrounded,
Well-
as a city dweller, I'll say we're surrounded by you.
Right.
The town of Rutland is significant and important to the city of Rutland.
No doubt, Tom. It's a good question. In David's first term as mayor, our select board and the mayor's office and the board of aldermen, quite frankly, worked very well together. And we both town and city recognize we have our proud traditions and we're both independent. But yet, if we don't work together, the entire region is going to suffer for it.
That's right.
So Mayor Allaire and I, have, I would say, touch points every week or so. We check in, and hey, it might just be to say, hey, this is what's going on, or that's what's going on in the town or city. You know, and any opportunity we have to communicate or do public relations, we try to do. Our board is very pro-city. David's very pro-town, so it works well together. It's a nice marriage. You know, I'll give you an example. Mayor Lair and I yesterday spent some time at General Electric on Windcrest Road to learn a little bit more about the future and what they're working on. And there's some exciting things, you know, coming down the road. And we're so happy to have GE in our community. And there's a plant in the city and there's a plant in the town, but it doesn't matter to us where that plant is because there's jobs, right? And that's what we need is good paying jobs, and GE provides it. So Mayor Lair and I had the opportunity to be there, and it was really nice to hear what's going to happen in the future there. So it's great to, you know, congratulations to David again. He's been a great a friend of the town, I believe, and I think going forward we're going to continue to have that strong communication, which is so critical.
It'd be very short-sighted, really, for people in either municipality to look at the other as an adversary or a threat in any way. I mean, we're too small
No doubt.
to be petty, and we really do all boats rise with the tide.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you might have dinner downtown, but you might buy an automobile in Rutland Town. You know, you might stay in one of our hotels and shop at McNeil and Reedy if you need a new suit, right? So, I mean, it's just such a benefit to have each other, I think. So there's so much to it.
My only other question that I wanted to ask, though, while we have you, is about the workforce and the workforce sort of deficit in the state of Vermont, if you will. And, you know, if you've been, I'm sure you're hearing from businesses regarding that, trying to fill positions. You know, it used to be the other way around. You didn't have enough jobs for the people, and now you have enough jobs and not enough people. And that's a cart before the horse issue, because if you have water and you have sewer and you have permitting and even some tax stabilization and those kind of things that you typically use as a package to attract a business, the last thing we always were able to say is we've got workforce and we have a workforce with a great work ethic. But now, you know, that last sort of key piece is dwindling, for lack of a better term. It's got to be turned around, not only for Rutland County, but for the state of Vermont. And I'm sure you're hearing that, and that must be a concern that you've...
It's a concern for our board, certainly, and it's something that we talk about often. There's a great disconnect, unfortunately, and I don't know how to repair it, right? Not one person or one board's going to repair it, but you talk to employers, and they say, hey, we have jobs, but no one's applying, or the right skill sets aren't applying. And then you talk to people looking for jobs, and they say, there's no jobs here, right? So what's the disconnect between people, there's jobs, we're hearing from employers, and then people are saying, I can't find work, right? There's got to be better communication between the employer and the prospective employee. But I think it's really bigger than anything the town can do, the city can do. Certainly communication's positive. The chamber's doing a nice job, Reddick's doing a nice job moving the ball down the field. But I think it's a bigger issue countywide and this part of the state. And Montpelier really needs to take a better look at, say, hey, you know what, Chittenden County's doing a pretty good job. We heard about it last November as Governor Scott was out on his stump speech, and he said Chittenden County's doing pretty good. They can do better, but they're doing pretty good. Rutland County needs to do a little bit better in terms of bringing people here, right? We have the jobs, right? We have 4 seasons. We have the recreation that people desire, right? Now come here, right? We have great colleges. We have so much to offer. Now it's time to get the message out there. I think the marketing initiative is we're going down the right path, right? You're not going to see results tomorrow or the next day, but this is long term. I think things like this concierge service I just learned about that they're doing is pretty neat to bring people in and show them all the benefits of the county, right? But we can't, as municipalities, we can't fight about is it Clarendon, is it Rutland Town, is it Rutland City, is it Proctor? We don't care, right? We need to bring people here, which is going to benefit everybody. So it's so critical that we continue to all row the boat in the right direction and work on that.
And as you say, perception is reality is a popular saying in the media world. And Rutland and Rutland County, it's a matter of how we perceive ourselves and how we teach others to perceive us.
That's right.
I will say, though, that Chittenden County right now, and they've had their act together for a long time, and all roads lead there, literally, as well as their airline and soon the train, and they have. So now they are better represented in the Senate and the House with the number of representatives due to their population and so on and so forth. And if you go up there, it's almost as if they have their own economy in the state of Vermont. And to their credit, kudos to them, because it's rocking up there, if you will.
And the one thing they do have is population.
Exactly.
And that, a third of the entire state's population lives in one county, being Chittenden County. And so we certainly could use a few of those families to move a little further south and help us in the areas that we need, right? Because we know, we live here, we love it, right? We've all had the opportunity to move south, right? Or move west or wherever you want to go. We choose to stay here and raise our families and now our grandkids for some of us, right?
Yep,
And,
I'll raise my hand
so,
on that one.
So we need to just get the message. We need to be better messengers, all of us, regardless if you're an elected official or you live here and you love it, get the message out. Hey, come check us out. We got a lot to offer.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah. And especially if you like to swim, fish, ski,
Love it.
Snowboard,
Right.
et cetera,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are looking forward to the spring coming. I don't know about you, but
We are. In fact, we've already got plans with the grandkids to go to a Maple Open House weekend up at the Smith Farm.
Oh,
who's
very
a
good.
classmate of mine
Wonderful.
and has an amazing operation out there. But what other community can you just do that on a Saturday afternoon?
we can be 20
right?
minutes. We can be at Lake Bombazine, or 20 minutes. We can be to Killington.
That's right.
Where else would you rather be? So
Exactly. Yep.
So
We're
it
all
was-
in agreement on that one.
absolutely.
I think.
So
Now you got me thinking about sugar on snow.
Well, Josh, thank you
Thank
very,
you
very
guys.
much.
So
We
it was
really
a great
appreciate
day
you
for
coming
Rutland
by.
Town, and wonderful
Excellent.
job you two do, and Peg TV is awesome. We
Thank you.
couldn't live
Peg
without
TV
them.
is fantastic. This
Thank
crew
you.
here
Thank
is
you.
amazing, and
Yeah.
we appreciate all you're doing in the
Oh,
town,
thank
and
you.
keep working together. We're all rolling in the same direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get
So,
there. All
Yes.
right.
Nice to see you
As
guys.
a townie,
Thank-
thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for voting.
Thank you, Josh.
All right.
Josh Terenzini, Chair of the Select Board in Rutland Town, and also just recently appointed, which I did not ask him about, the Act 250 District Environmental Commission, which is not an easy task either to serve on, but
No,
he's
no.
serving on it as well. So
We
he
do have
just was
some
appointed.
results in from Danby and from Brandon.
Fantastic.
All right. In Danby, there weren't a lot of contested races in these communities, but for those who were, I will mention that for the Select Board, a 3-year term, Paul Pierce had 158 votes and Charlie Dotson 147. So congratulations to Paul Pierce. And there was also another contested race, actually 2 others, one for Lister. Congratulations to Pamela Fuller, 208 votes, to Byron Batise's 97. And the cemetery commissioners in Danby also contested Roger Bromley, 277, and Hilda Haynes, 232. All the other races were uncontested this year, so congratulations to all of those folks. And all of the town articles passed in Danby today. In Brandon, all the town articles passed as well. There was one contested race for Select Board, a 3-year term. Tim Giles, 400 votes to Dennis Reisenweaver, 242 votes. And again, all of the other races, moderator, 1-year Select Board term, trustee of public funds, et cetera, all of those were reelected.
All right, I see we've got this ticker going across the screen too, and we've got totals going there for you as well, thanks to the great team we have working behind the scenes here at Peg TV. They're fantastic, and this is a great community resource. So those are scrolling across the screen for you now, and you can see the articles that we've been discussing so far this evening. I did want to mention, Chris McCormick brought me earlier tonight, the total registered voters for Rutland City is actually 10,680. So we haven't seen the percentage of how many turned out yet today, but we heard it was a bit low. But nevertheless, people have turned out and voted, and decisions have been made. So we have in Rutland City all of the incumbent aldermen being reelected, as well as Matt Reveal being elected as a newcomer to the 1-year seat that was vacated by William Knott, who was elected state representative in November. So there will be one new face on the Board of Aldermen, but school budget passed and municipal budget passed, and the bond issues passed for infrastructure improvements. So the mayor was here talking earlier and reelected, and David Allaire, and also very pleased that he'll get to start tomorrow with a budget. That's always a good way to start your next term as mayor.
It's a vote of support, quite literally. You mentioned the number of registered voters in the city being upwards of 10,000. And when you
Right.
think of the population of the city being roughly 16,
Yeah.
and of course all of those who are ineligible to vote, mostly because of their age, that's a pretty high proportion of
You mean the younger
registered
people,
voters.
right? Not-
Right, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say, I hope we don't have a cutoff in the senior citizens. No, we know seniors tend to be the most dedicated
Yeah, they
voters
vote.
of all.
That's right, yeah.
But
0 to 18. we'll get.
Zero to 17 and 364 days. Those folks obviously can't, and then there are other people who don't have the right to vote for whatever reason. Maybe they're not citizens, and they can't register in the city because they're not U.S. citizens yet, for example. But still, it's a very significant amount of the population
Yeah.
that is at least
point.
involved enough to
To
register.
be registered, yeah, that's a good point.
Even if they don't vote with a consistency in every race. But that's
Right.
still a good number, and it says good things about
Right.
Rutland and about Vermonters and our attitude toward being involved in our communities.
Right, exactly. So with those tallies going across the screen now and so forth, I think we're going to take a quick break shortly because we're going to be looking for some results from some of the smaller towns that will be coming in. And then at 8:30, we're going to go live with WDEV based out of the Stowe area radio and Rutland, of course, 101 The One, as they call it, with Dave Graham. And we're going to talk about some of the results going on in that part of the state, but they want to hear from us and find out what the results are down on this part of the state. So we'll do that right around 8:30. But we're going to take a break here shortly, just so that we can tally some more results, and then we'll come back on live with you. So anyway, in the meantime, maybe we could just reiterate real quickly that the school commissioners in Rutland City there was 4 out of 4 running, and they were all, of course, reelected, but they start their next terms with a new school budget. So that was passed by Rutland City voters. That's fairly significant, along with the municipal budget. So we talked about Mayor David Allaire being reelected, and at this point, with that reelection, he starts his next term with a budget, as well as some significant infrastructure projects that were also approved tonight. All the social service agencies were approved as well. The city treasurer was reelected, as well as the city assessor.
And the social services items on all of the town ballots that we've received so far have all passed, which I think is, again, an encouraging sign in terms of the attitude that people take toward others in their community. And that's definitely not unique to the city.
Right, exactly. And I think, again, congratulations to all those that were reelected tonight. And also we appreciate the fact that all those folks that went out to vote today to make these decisions. You all deserve a lot of credit. The weather was pretty nice today, but a little cold. But, the fact that you got in the vote was the most significant. You got a voice and a say, as well as, the opportunity to express your opinion in the ballot box. So thank you very much for that. Again, we're going to be scrolling for a moment with the results, but we were talking about taking a quick break, coming back on with more results from the small towns, as well as getting on with WDEV 101 The One at 8:30. So I think we're in a position to take a short break. Okay, and we'll see you back here live with some more results momentarily. Thank you. Hi, Tom Donahue here, your co-host with none other than Nancy Gordon, doing a live election night coverage. Taking a brief break while we waited for some more results to come in. We have those results now, and also shortly we're going to be going to the radio live with WDEV and Dave Graham up there and giving him some results, and we expect them to be calling in any moment now. But in the meantime, I'm going to turn it over to Nancy Gordon to just give you some of the results that just came in from a couple of small towns in Rutland County. Nancy.
We're happy to report these. Not a lot of contested races in these communities, but in Proctor, Andrew Moss as town moderator for another year. Bruce, I think it's Backey, 165 votes in for another 3 years on the select board. 2-year term for Ben Curtis with 201 votes. And one of the Quarry Valley school directors, Gail Curtis, and that is a name we're going to get used to on these election result nights with all of these reconfigured school districts under Act 46.
Right.
So Quarry Valley School District is one of them. The Mill River Unified Union School Board now has Amy Martone elected, defeating Carolyn Fury, 83 to 25. That's in Tinmouth, and all of the town budget items passed on Saturday by voice vote in Tinmouth. And in Ira, a variety of positions, all uncontested. Everybody has won their respective terms. Most of those are 3-year terms. Some of them were 1-year terms. Auditor, delinquent tax collector, lister, moderator for the school district, moderator for the town, school directors, select board positions, and town agent. Congratulations to all of the folks there in Ira. William Whiteman Jr., Christine Tominski, Deborah Perry, Karen Davis, Mary Mitigai, Kelly Thompson. Oh, by the way, Mary is both the moderator for the school district and the town. Kelly Thompson, school director, Lauren Martell also, and a write-in candidate for select board, Steve Martell. Another select board position, this is a 1-year term, Nathan Hewitt, and Larry Taggart, a 1-year term as town agent in Ira.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nancy. And I also just want to take a moment again to thank the team here at PEG TV, Tom Leopold, the executive director, of course, as well as Chris McCormick, Nancy Donahue, Bryn Doan, Chelsea Tice, who's the program coordinator right here for PEG TV Channel 21, bringing you this government channel, Amber Dumas and Daniel Eppelt, as well as Missy Delahanty and Michelle Leonard, the great team behind the scenes here, with Nancy and I up front, with Nancy Gordon, of course, and me, Tom Donahue. I also wanted to mention, though, that on pegtv.com, that's their website, you can go on to sign the petition to support PEG TV, because there are some FCC they're reworking some legislation. It's administrative rules, though. It's not going through Congress, it's going through the administrative rules at the FCC. That would change the way PEG TV is funded, and it does endanger the community access television around the state, around the country, but right here in Rutland County as well. So, that's something we should be concerned with. This is a great, great service that is provided to the community, the entire county. Now they're streaming live on Facebook, and they're on their website as well, so you can watch it on your handheld device or your iPad or your laptop computer, or right on your television, right from your living room. And it's just phenomenal that they're able to bring you sports, and that they're able to bring you the select board meetings and the public hearings and the school board meetings and the budget hearings and all these things that provide real transparency and real information to our communities. We see our neighbors and our friends on here with all the different informational shows and all the VIPs, as they call them, volunteer independent producers that have shows that Nancy and I both had on here as well. And it's just unprecedented access to the community. And you can do it from the comfort of your home, which oftentimes people can't get out, or for one reason or another, maybe just having lots of kids at home, or maybe weather related, you can't get out. You don't have to. You can actually turn in community access television and still be informed and still learn about great things going on in your community. That's all because of PEG TV. So I encourage you to go to pegtv.com and voice your opinion in that way on their website. by supporting their petition to, keep PEG TV funded the way it is, and not have the FCC administratively change the rules that would impact that negatively for our community. So thank you for that opportunity to say that.
Speaking as somebody who has spent many years in the media, I think it's especially important in a community of our size where we are not the hub of the TV networks, for example.
Yeah.
And we do not get the same intensity of coverage as, say, northern Vermont.
Yeah,
We're
that's
not-
right.
We're not in the capital district of New York. We're not in the northern part of the state of Vermont. We kind of fall through the cracks to some degree. So PEG TV means so much more in communities like ours. The community access television really has so much more of a role to play in keeping citizens informed and in
Agreed.
touch, whether it's hard news, whether it's fun, festive stuff that's been covered, everything in between.
Yeah.
It's that much more important to have a vibrant community access station, and in our case, multiple community access stations, and keep them vibrant and active.
And not to belabor the point, I'll just say this one thing, that in the last 3 weeks, we've had an aldermanic debate with you had so many candidates to choose from, as well as a mayoral race with a mayoral debate a week later, and a week after that, the live election night coverage to bring you the results of those races. And where else do you get that? That's just so significant. So kudos to PEG TV, and we appreciate you, and we're supporting you all the way, and we hope that others watching will go to pegtv.com and support us as well.
It's so very important. Please make your voice heard. Tonight is all about making your voice heard, and here's one more way you can do it.
Now, do we have any more results that trickled in there, Nancy
We
Gordon?
do. Now, this is the Otter Valley Unified School District election results. This is the school budget passing 707 to 622. School bond failed 759 to 597. Derek Larson won the contested school board race. All other uncontested races came in strong for the incumbent.
All right, and we have one other coming in now from Pittsford, so they're starting to roll in from the outlying towns, not too far outlying.
No.
Pittsford, of course, just up the street. For grand juror, they had no winner. There was, it was a write-in sort of situation. Now, funny this should come up because earlier we were talking with someone who was saying, make sure that you don't jokingly write yourself in for these offices because you might actually just find yourself elected. So this would be a great case in point. And same thing with the library trustee with no winner. And Lister, same, Donna Wilson, and with 341 votes and a write-in with 2. Moderator, no winner. Selectman, W. Joseph Gagnon, 348 with 7 write-ins, and Selectman David Mills. These are that was a 3-year term for Joseph Gagnon and 2-year term for David Mills. 367 votes with 8 write-ins. And town agent, they had a write-in of says 28. So I don't have a name on that, but it appears that some might have gotten themselves elected town agent. And trustee of public funds, 342 votes for Hank Pelkey, and 8 write-in votes on that. So last but not least on that one is the Article 6, shall the general obligation bonds or notes of the town of Pittsford amount not to exceed $970,000, subject to reduction from available state and federal grants and aid, be issued to finance the cost of making certain public sewer improvements, namely construction and installation of new gravity sewer mains, pump station and force main, water treatment facility, instrumentation, and related betterments at an aggregate estimated cost of $970,000. And that's Article 6 up in the town of Pittsford. And that passed 240 yes to 165 no. So there you go.
All right. We have some unofficial results in from Paulet. We promised you that we would be as comprehensive around the county as we could be tonight. And the town moderator, once again, John Thrasher, that's a 1-year term, 248 votes. There were 6 write-ins. The select board race, John Malcolm, 239, Ed Cleveland, 208. There were 3 write-ins, and you had to vote not more than 2. So both of those gentlemen deserve congratulations. The Select Board 3-year term, Michael Beecher is going back with 221 votes. There were 14 write-ins. First Constable, David Ricard Sr., 262 votes, 1 write-in. The Delinquent Tax Collector, this is Paulette. Kimberly Ayers, 265 votes to 1 write-in. 23 write-ins for the town agent position, but presumably there were 23 different write-ins, maybe, because nobody won. So you would think.
Wow.
That would be
It's a tie.
Yeah, seriously, a 23-way tie for town agent in Paulette, just for giggles. Grand juror, a similar situation, 21 write-in votes and a 21-way tie. Some people in Paulette have a real sense of humor. Scott McKenzie, 209 votes as Metawee School Director. Library Trustee Catherine Lawrence with 252 votes, 28 write-in. Library Trustee Sally Karras, this is 1 year remaining of a 3-year term, 245, 2 write-in votes. And again, unofficial results on the various articles, all of them appear to have passed, yes, handily. All of those, everything related to Green Up Vermont, to American Red Cross, to Brock Community Action, to the Town Equipment Fund and the Capital Budget Fund, among others. There were quite a few articles in Paulette today. Yes, seriously, all the way down to number 27. So, but everything was passed in the town of Paulette by its voters who turned out today on this town meeting day.
Excellent. Thank you, Nancy. And Brendone just brought me in now, the town of Wallingford. And we have town moderator Jay Kenlin and town agent Julie Sharon. First Constable Robert Cook. Select Board Bruce Duchesne, 185 votes to Mark Tessier at 158 votes. And Select Board member John McClellan, 190 votes to Bill Brooks, 180 votes. So in a small town, that's a tight race.
That is.
I might mention. And then DTC Jill Tier Stone, 225 votes to Lee Perry's 159 votes. And MRU USD, Liz Filskov, 237 votes to Paul Rodinan, 124 votes. Trustee of Public Funds, Joyce Barbieri, and Constable article, yes, 227 to no, 144 on the Constable article in the town of Wallingford. So thank you for the town of Wallingford. And I want to thank all of the town clerks as well as the folks working at the polls who do an awful lot of work, not only tonight getting the results together, and thank you for communicating them to PEG TV, but also throughout the days leading up to the election, preparing for the election itself. An awful lot of ward clerks and city clerks and town clerks do a lot of work to get this accomplished and make it go what seemingly so smooth, but I'm sure there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make it look this good.
Well, for most of these town clerks and town offices, they're starting in January, pulling together the reports that go out to the community. So anybody who submits something that goes into a town report needs to be mindful of that. There's a lot of lead up. It's like planning a wedding. If you just show up and have a good time, you're not thinking about what had to be done 1 month out and 6 months out, etc. And it's very similar to that kind of thing. A lot of diligence behind the scenes leading up to what should be an easy breezy experience for us as voters. I know when I went into Rutland Town today, they checked, they found my name and address, they handed me a ballot and a Sharpie, I went, I voted, I handed it in, boom, bang, maybe 3 minutes for the whole process. But all of the orchestration involved in pulling off what seems like an effortless experience for me as the voter.
Right. And it's so important to be, obviously, to state the obvious, accurate. Very, very important, because this is a democratic process and every vote counts. So you really have to be, you have to do it correctly. There's no room for error.
And especially in these smaller communities, as you say, where it could be 38 votes to 35 or something. And well, you got to make sure that's accurate, because That's a margin of error kind of a question.
So we also have the town of Rutland, and I'm happy to report. We'll mention that some of these uncontested, but we'll mention them now anyway. So we have the opportunity for a 2-year term for a select person, as they call it over there. Sharon Russell, re-elected, 777 votes for Sharon Russell. Joan DiNardo, also running for a 3-year term. So Sharon's was a 2-year term. Joe DiNardo ran for a 3-year term, and uncontested, 757 votes for Joe. And Matthew Getty, a 1-year term for moderator, 786 votes, uncontested. Nobody for grand juror. Again, it says there's 82 write-ins, so we'll see where that goes. You know, there may not be 82 different people. There may be a winner for grand juror accidentally in the town, or maybe someone put their name forth, I'm not sure. But same thing for, so that's grand juror in the town of Rutland. But for Lister, Dean Davis, 3-year term, 792 votes. Although I think that could be a 4 in his, so maybe 742 votes. But either way, Dean Davis was not contested and has won re-election with that vote.
No groundswell of opposition there, no.
Cemetery Commissioner Kurt Hathaway, 799 votes. And Ed Dumas, First Constable, 809 votes. And then, of course, John Paul Fagnant, Second Constable, with 740 votes. And then School Director Timothy Hammond, 474 votes to Nicole McPhee's 375 votes. And that was for a 2-year term on the school board, if you will. And then there was a 3-year term on the school board. Russ Marsan with 748 votes. Russ ran uncontested for the 3-year term and has won a seat on the school board. Congratulations, Russ. And then in the town articles, the select board, and Josh Terenzini was on as chairman of the select board, and he shared a lot of this as to what had passed and failed, but we have some actual tallies for you in that respect. So the town budget, if you will, 774 votes yes and 122 votes no. Let's see. So this is the item that Josh was talking about, adding an additional person to the what they call the operation of the police fund budget, and but basically added an additional person for that coverage that Josh expressed was so needed, and he was very pleased with this passing. 771 votes yes to 125 votes no. And that's for the police fund budget in the town of Rutland, passing 771 to 125. And then it's $789,250 for the operation of the highway fund budget in the town of Rutland, passing 755 votes to 134 no. So their highway town budget is approved. And then their fire fund budget, very similar results, 736 yes to 158 no. So the fire fund budget in the town of Rutland is overwhelmingly passed. As well as their recreation fund budget, also overwhelmingly passed, 732 yes to 152 no. So basically it looks like the town of Rutland is going to be able to get going tomorrow with their select board, their school commissioners, et cetera, all their constables elected, and then all their budgets passed, which is fantastic. They also had some ballot questions on here. So you had one for NeighborWorks of Western Vermont, passing 729 to 165. Center for Independent Living, 717 yes, 163 no. You had Retired Senior Volunteer, RSVP, 680 yes, 218 no. You have the ARC, again, 675 yes, 212 no. Brock Community Action, 664 yes, 221 no. Rutland Town, let's see, Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging, 660 yes, 223 no. Town of Rutland, let's see, this is the Reddick, for Rutland Economic Development Corporation, basically.
Marketing initiative.
This one actually, let's see, corporation's budget to promote economic development in the region. So I think this was actually for Reddick, specifically, 632 yes, 236 no. And then you have one for the Child First Advocacy Center, 621 yes, 256 no. The bus, of course, Marble Valley Regional Transit District, affectionately known around here as the bus. We're still small enough where we can call a bus the bus. And our transit district, 611 yes to 280 no. Then you have the marketing initiative, Nancy, you were mentioning.
Separate, yes.
Through Reddick and the Chamber in this case, as a separate ballot item for $4,054. And that was 611 yes and 272 no. Followed by the Wonder Feet Kids Museum, 607 yes, 287 no. Rutland Mental Health Services, 606 yes, 277 no. Ravna, again, these are, I'm using the old terminology just because this is how they're listed on the ballot. If you change your name on the ballot, you have to repetition and go out and get signatures. So a lot of times the strategy is just leave it what everybody knows it as and move forward. But regardless, they have passed at 579 yes and 287 no.
But FYI, they are now the Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice of the Southwest region,
Thank you, Nancy.
having connected more completely with Bennington, yes.
And I think you heard from
Bernadette
Bernadette
Robin
Robin
said, "Thank
already
you for
through
getting us-"
social media for
Yes.
getting that right.
Thank you for getting
thanks,
that
Bernadette,
right.
for checking in with us. Also, we have the high school graduates down in Rutland.
Oh, that's the scholarship.
the scholarship.
Yeah.
588 yes and 286 no. So the scholarship passes.
See, I was paying attention. I didn't just fill in
Yeah,
ovals.
very good, very good. We have the regional ambulance, of course, 587 yes, 285 no. These are all passing. The Rutland Free Library, very important, 586 yes and 297 no. A great resource in this community. All of these are, but the library is very significant in their need for funds and continuation of their operations. So very pleased to see the town of Rutland supporting that.
One of the things that strikes me listening to you read those numbers is that they're not all the same. It's not the same yes and the same no, that people didn't just thoughtlessly approve or disapprove
No.
of everything,
Yeah.
that there are actual distinctions, that people thoughtfully considered each one and how they perceive it and whether
Agreed.
they wanted to support it or not.
Yeah, agreed, and I think that's important. So the last one on this group, number 22, shall the town of Rutland annually fund its existing reserve account for the purchase, repair, and/or maintenance of police department equipment, aka Police Depreciation Fund, by taxes raised by the rate of 0.0025 per $100 of assessed property valuation. And that passed 562 to 319. And then the last two were the school district budget, basically, in effect, passing 550 yes to 351 no, and also the they have let's see, this is building improvement, the elementary school safety and security replacements and upgrades, which is $235,000, and that passed 526 yes to 322 no. So all the articles in Rutland Town passing, social service requests, budgets, and select boards, constables, and town articles, and a new school director, Russ Marsan, as well as one new school director, Timothy A. Hammond.
You know,
in the town of Rutland.
I think about these results and the results we've been sharing tonight. And, you know, we talk a lot about statewide races, especially in presidential contests, where primary voters are extremely left or extremely right, and that these smaller contests tend to bring out the diehards in any particular political camp. But I'm looking at all of these results that we're sharing tonight, and that kind of contradicts that, because yes, these are the core voters, but it's not that people were up in arms about anything. They seem to really want to be supportive of community
Right.
efforts, whether they were town budgets related to highway work or
Right.
schools or the
Right.
social service agencies. There was a general attitude of community mindedness and support for the endeavors across the board tonight.
Right, and while people are mindful of their tax dollars, at the same time, they are investing in our future. And I think that people see these as well thought out plans that these municipalities have put forward. and then they trust in their elected officials and done their homework probably on these ballot items and felt secure in supporting them because of the good work that they're doing and because of that community development at that grassroots level that much of this really reflects. So I think that's exactly right, Nancy, and I think people have made good, wise decisions. I think if there were something on the ballot that didn't merit passage, it probably would fail, but these have proven themselves to be accomplishing something important for the community, and they've gained the support of the voters and the confidence of the voters, and this is really the reflection of that.
And again, I think on the small town level, and I include all of us in small town in this regard, there's a mindfulness of the impact that each of these organizations has. I mean,
Right.
we have a lot of nonprofits in Vermont. We certainly have a lot of nonprofits, in particular in Rutland County, but we're all touched by those in some way.
Exactly. So at this point, we are waiting for a few more small town results to come in. There's a lot of clerks that have been diligently trying to put together their tallies, and we sincerely appreciate that. We've had so many towns already tonight that have been kind enough to take the time to share their results with PEG TV, your main source for this information tonight, because we're doing this live, and then they're scrolling the results as you can see on the screen, and we appreciate that very much to all of the towns out there that have been taking the time to call PEG TV. So we're going to go off for another break just momentarily with the thought that when a few more small towns come in, we'd love to share those results because we are a community, a countywide, I should say, community access television station here at PEG TV. And we do want all the towns that are tuned in tonight to be able to hear the results here first if we can provide them for you. So with that, I think we'll take a minute to take another break, and we'll be back with you shortly, hopefully with a few more small town tallies. Hi, I'm Tom Donahue, your co-host with Nancy Gordon. Still here doing live election night coverage because we had some small towns trickling in. We really appreciate all the ward workers and clerks that are out there doing this tonight. We're not the only ones hanging in there because they're working hard to tally these results and get them out to the voters of their respective towns. So we have a few left we want to report out because this is Community Access TV at its finest here at PEG TV, and it is county-wide in Rutland region. So one of the ones that was sent to us by the superintendent of Rutland Northeast Supervisory Union is a updated information. It's titled Barstow UU budget passed 291 to 60. And Barstow UU budget passed 291 to 60. And the Otter Valley UU Goshen seat was won by Bill Mathis with 58 write-in votes. So see, a write-in can win. So that's the Otter Valley UU Goshen seat won by Bill Mathis with 58 write-in votes. In addition, the school budget there at Otter Valley passed 707 to 622. The school bond failed 759 to 597. And Derek Larson won the contested school board race. All other contested races went for the incumbent, and that's very much appreciated. In addition, we have a little bit to report from Mount Holly, because I say a little bit because it was just 2 contested races. But first of all, I'll mention for the town of Mount Holly that all of the ballot items and questions and articles passed. So that's all of the articles and questions on the individuals that were uncontested, of course, passed in the town of Mount Holly. 2 contested races, one for selectman for 3 years, Peter Berger running against Jennifer Matthews, or for the office, if you will. Jennifer Matthews wins, 156 votes to 125 for Peter Berger. So Jennifer Matthews, the new, or elected, I should say, selectman for 3 years in the town of Mount Holly. And then the other contested race was for the school board for 3 years. Christopher Garvey was running along with Katie Holbeek, and Katie Holbeek won the seat in Mount Holly for 3 years on the school board, 250 votes to Christopher Garvey's 172 votes. So that's the town of Mount Holly. Again, all articles passed there. In the town of Hubbardton, same thing, uncontested races. Of course, those folks did in fact win, but all of the questions and articles on the Hubbardton annual town meeting ballot passed with one exception. Article 16, shall the town authorize the elimination of the town of office of auditor? So shall the town authorize the elimination of the office of town auditor with future audits to be provided by a public accountant licensed in the state of Vermont? Shall the town authorize the elimination of the town auditor? And that failed. So they want to keep their town auditor in Hubbardton, and that we don't have an actual vote tally, but indicated by their officials in the town of Hubbardton that Article 16, did in fact fail in Hubbardton, while all the other town articles did in fact pass in the town of Hubbardton. And we thank them very much for sending this information to us tonight, letting us report out to our viewers in Hubbardton in that area. Now, Nancy Gordon, you have another one.
I do have a couple of more, actually. West Rutland reported to us first, and like many communities, there were a number of uncontested races. But for those that were contested, the select persons, William Kulig defeating Sean Barrows by 148 to 143 votes for a 3-year term as a select person. For the 1-year term, the 2 top vote getters in a field of 3, Jane Pratt with 227 and Nick Knott at 189 votes. All of the articles passed in West Rutland in today's voting. In Poultney, a couple of contested races there as well. Just the one, really, actually. George Miller Jr. and Carol Bunce have been elected to a one-year term on the Select Board. Bunce with 324 votes, Miller with 262 votes. Now, it's interesting, in many of these smaller communities, there will be positions that have no one on the ballot. In this one case, Quarry Valley Unified Union School Director, 414 people left that blank for a 3-year term, and there were 29 write-ins, so we'll see what becomes of that. All of the questions passed in Poultney today. So with the Poultney totals, we now have the Quarry Valley Unified Union School District article summary. The Articles 7 and 8 passed in Poultney, in Proctor, and in West Rutland. So that is firm now for the newly coined Quarry Valley Unified Union School District. And we want to give our thanks as we wrap up tonight, again, to this amazing group of people. You just can't thank them enough. Tom Leopold, Chris McCormick, Nancy Donahue, Bryn Doan, Chelsea Tice, Amber Dumas, Daniel Appelt, Missy Delahanty, and Michelle Leonard. Thank you all so much for being the wind beneath our wings tonight.
Thank you, Nancy. And so I think we may have reached what we think is a record for towns reporting in, and one of the things we were hoping to accomplish tonight. So hang in. We had a last-minute flurry from a lot of those great clerks out there. So we do have the town of Castleton to report, so I'll do that now. And I'm going to just try to cut to the chase and stick to the ones that are contested. There's a library trustee, Chris Jacoby Stevenson, 234 votes to Patricia Schroeder's 400. So Patricia Schroeder wins the library trustee contested seat in the town of Castleton. And then on the select board, you actually had a pretty good race. You had four candidates for 2 seats, basically, so 2 for each office. John T. Alexander and Janet Curry both losing tonight, 279 for John Alexander and 169 for Janet Curry. The winners, Jim Leamy at 389 votes and Joe Mark at 451 votes. Top vote getter there in the town selectman race in the town of Castleton, Joe Mark with 451 votes. So those are the 2 selectmen elected tonight, Jim Leamy and Joe Mark. That was a 1-year term. Then you have the articles, the ballot articles, and it appears that they have all passed in the town of Castleton, the best I can see here. I'm just giving it a quick look, but it looks like all of the town articles were voted yes and passed. I'm just going to look at the last column here to make sure that's right. And that does appear to be so. So in the town of Castleton, all the articles passed. Again, your library trustee, Patricia Schroeder, getting 400 votes, and your selectman for a 1-year term, electing tonight Jim Leamy and top vote getter Joe Mark.
And Tom, with that set of results coming in, we have officially broken the record for towns reporting in Rutland County, 20 towns, and I believe there are 27 in total.
Yeah.
20 reporting tonight here through PEG TV. Thank you all so much for making sure we were able to get those results out to the community.
And the last one, and I'm going to take a quick look at it because I haven't had a chance to scan it yet, but we're doing this on the fly as they come in, and hang in here with live election night results. There's nothing like live television, especially when the results are coming in over the fax and email and every other way, that to give us the opportunity to communicate them to you tonight for PEG TV. The town of Chittenden, Vermont.
The record breaker, number 20. Woohoo!
And I'm looking to see if there's any contested races, and none on that page. So I'm going to get to the articles, which is the first article, Article 3, show the town vote a tax for the period of, so basically it's their budget, basically 192 yes to 18 no. So that's overwhelmingly a yes. The general fund expenditure budget 190 to 22. Looks like all of the articles, so they've got a highway budget. All these are overwhelming, 203 to 24. No close ones here. All of the articles appear to have passed. I'm just going to go down and double check. And then all of the funding requests, which includes Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, Rutland Area Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice, Rutland Mental Health Services, Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging, Boys and Girls Club, Wonder Feet Kids Museum, and Advocacy Resource Community, all passing again overwhelmingly. And then there was a question Article 11 on the Chittenden Public Safety Reserve Fund, passing significantly. Permit tracking ordinance, passing significantly, 141 to 81. And then the last one, they're looking for it's sort of a renewable energy question. And that one passed 122 to 101. So I'm assuming that's sort of a advisory question. It looks like authorizing a letter sent to the state representatives and senators, Speaker of the House, Senate Pro Tem, and the governor, that the voters supporting and opposed to the article be 121 to supporting 101 opposing this sort of renewable energy statement, if you will, from the town of Chittenden. How about that? So that kind of wraps up all of the reporting towns tonight.
That's number 20 out of the 27
It is.
in the whole county.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
And we want to just again congratulate Mayor David Allaire for his re-election tonight, also passing the school budget and the municipal budget and the mayor's initiatives with a couple of bond issues that would affect the city infrastructure, all passing. So they get to start fully ready to go tomorrow. Also, all of the city incumbents for the Board of Aldermen being re-elected tonight, and then Matthew Reveal being the new face on the Board of Aldermen, elected to the one-year seat vacated by William Knott as he became state representative. And then the city treasurer and city assessor also re-elected tonight. So a pretty good night for municipalities across the county. And if you were looking to have your budgets and so forth approved and ready to go tomorrow, you got them. And it was kind of sweeping throughout the 20 of 27 towns that we reported out tonight. So very comprehensive. And I want to take a moment to thank Nancy Gordon, our co-host here, who always does a fantastic job in anything she does, and especially here on PEG TV and this live election night coverage. So thank you very much, Nancy. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
We appreciate it, trust me. And then last but not least, of course, we thank PEG TV. We've got to thank all of you viewers out there. We really appreciate you tuning in, supporting community access television in your community. It is wonderful, isn't it? So with that, I want to say goodnight. Thank you all. Thank all the candidates that ran for office. It's not an easy thing to do, but win or lose, we sincerely appreciate it. And with that, signing off for PEG TV, I'm Tom Donahue.